This is a great way to upcycle some old wine bottles. So I'm going to go ahead and put a bonding primer on them. In this case, we use Dixie Belle's Bonding Boss. It's going to stick to this glass and make sure the paint and anything else that we put on it does not come off. I just added one quick coat of it, let it dry overnight, and then do the next step. So then we're going to go ahead and add some texture, because texture always is a really fun thing to add. So this is just any kind of chalk paint with some salt wash added, and then we'll let that dry. Now, to really get these going, we're going to add some molds. So my favorite paper clay is the Creative brand. These are molds from Redesign with Prima. Just make sure when you put your paper clay in those molds that you just get the excess off. I just grab a putty knife here and just scrape off the excess clay. That way it just has a clean, crisp mold. This mold is great because it's really deep, but it's just such a cool, this is a new mold from Redesign with Prima. I do have these available on my website. So once you do that, you're just going to go ahead and bend your mold. It is silicone. And since you've already dusted it with cornstarch to start with, it's going to release really easy. I have a variety of molds in my arsenal. Actually, I have just about every one that was ever done. So I am very fortunate because I can just go to my stash and pull another one out. So these are the ones that I used. I used one or two off of every one, and then just came up with a design. There's like 3 separate pieces on every single one. Just kind of put them together. So our paint is dry. You can see the texture on here. I'm going to go ahead and just add some wood glue. That's basically what I use all the time. Spread it around with your fingers and just attach it to your wine bottle. Now the clay is still wet. It's very important that you do this while the clay is wet, because then the clay will form to the bottle and you can layer it. You can, I moved that up, stuck it underneath. You can just keep going. I generally let them dry overnight so that the clay will dry naturally. It will crack, which is what I want. I actually prefer clay over resin. It's a lot cheaper. You can use it instantly, and I just like how it looks after it dries. So it's dried overnight, and I went ahead and just threw a coat of paint on that one. This one, I'm going to add a coat of paint. Now, we already textured it, but it didn't really matter what color I did the base, because I just wanted to add some paint and just get something on there. Generally, when I do my first coat of texture, it's the paint that I just have extra of. I really don't care what the base coat is. So we're just going to go ahead and paint those molds, get them really good and painted so that we can't see the white. Then I'm just going to start layering colors. Okay, this one right here is actually Dixie Belle's Mermaid Tail. I just going to have layers and layers of colors, kind of in a dry brush effect. We're just going to keep doing that. And we're going to keep just kind of pouncing on. Now, the texture is going to take a life of its own. It's going to start evolving, right? We're just going to use different colors. I have a dark green. I've got a moss-colored green. I've got a grass green. I've got blues. I've got tans. Just use whatever you want. These would be great centerpieces for a wedding. Wedding season is coming up real soon. This is a great way to upcycle old liquor bottles. Any kind of bottle you can use. You can find them at the thrift stores. Heck, you can drink all the wine and reuse them. That's more fun, right? So I'm just pouncing on the paint. You can see that the texture is still there on the base coat. And just keep going and adding layers of paint until you get the desired finish that you're looking for. Now, I like to do lighter colors because lighter colors are going to show up really well, because we are going to end with a glaze on this, which is going to soak in and go ahead and deepen all of this. So just pounce, 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 pounce. That's the easiest way to do this. You're not trying to stroke. You're just trying to make it look like granite, and it really does with the texture. Now, the other ones, I just keep going. I just add colors as I see fit. I'm just adding a green right now to a base of blue, and I just grab colors off my shelf. I am using a variety of chalk paints. Most of them are from Dixie Belle. I could tell you what the colors are if you really need to know. So now I have a glaze. A glaze is a medium that is a very translucent coverage, but what it does when brushed on, and I am putting it on the entire bottle, making sure to get it in every crack and crevice that's on there. Hence the reason I love when it actually dries and cracks. I like that better than resin because resin doesn't crack. So I'm going to take a damp rag and I'm going to wipe it off. Now what this is going to do is leave behind the glaze in all the peaks and valleys. It's going to give it a very aged antique look. It is starting to look like a plaster sort of bottle. These would be great for like centerpieces, for you could put a candle in it. I grabbed some of my chalk paste. This is by Posh Chalk. It's I can't remember what color it is, but it's a gold. And just kind of dabbing it on. You could also use a gilding wax. You could use a gold paint, but this is just a paste, so it's super thick. So just a little bit of artist brush and just hitting the highlights. What that does is just make it look so beautiful. I'm going to hit it on all 3 bottles, just giving them detail. Wouldn't this be fabulous to pick your wedding colors, stack up the things, and voila, use them as centerpieces? How about putting them in your yard, putting a outdoor light that comes on automatically? You guys, just the sky's the limit. Thank you.